So what what we have learned last lesson is about the tangent. Okay, we learned how to sketch tangent graph, which is finding the first two asymptotes first and then label all the asymptotes for the rest. And then find the middle point, which is the point of inflection, and then confirm the shape of the graph, whether it's an increasing or a decreasing graph. Okay, that's what we learned last lesson. And then we also learned how to solve for tangent equations. Okay, how to solve for tangent equations. There's only one base angle when we're trying to solve one equation. This is quite different compared to the sine and cosine graph. Okay, that's the difference between sine and cosine graph. Alright, so we will continue with solving some tangent equations here. We're trying to practice a bit more for solving tangent. Okay, the two examples we have here is 3 tangent to x equals to negative minus root 3 equals to 0. So same as sine and cosine solving. We will have tangent to x equals to root 3 over 3. Okay, tangent to x equals to root 3 over 3. Okay, my question is, tangent what is equals to root 3 over 3? Pi on 6. So 2x is pi on 6. Okay, only one is enough. You don't really need to think about another one in the third quadrant because the period for tangent is just pi, and there's only one solution in each period. Okay, each period. So you just have one solution, which is enough. And x equals to pi on 12. Okay, x equals to pi on 12. Yep. Not, I say general like equation like had a pi. So yes, this one is pi on 2. That's correct. Okay, so the next thing we think about is the period for this particular graph. So the period equals to pi divided by 2. Okay, the general period is pi, and then I have n value is 2. So it's pi divided by n, and it's pi on 2. I can say that's a 6 pi on 12 because I'll make that to the same denominator and looks better. So if I have a general solution, the general solution will be pi over 12 plus pi on 2k, where k belongs to z. Or I can say I can make a same denominator. That's pi plus 6k pi over 12. Okay, 6k pi over 12. Okay, that's a general solution as well. Well, they're the same. Basically, I just make the same denominator and then put that in a whole fraction. That's easy for me to substitute k values. And as you know that I can have, okay, that's the first value is pi on 12. Okay, the first value is pi on 12. That's when k equals to 0. That's when k equals to 0. X is that. The period is negative pi 2 pi. The period is negative pi 2 pi. So let's try the negative one. When is negative 1? X equals to, when k is negative 1, that's negative 5 pi on 12. So I subtract one period. Okay, I have subtract one period. That's minus 5 pi on 12. So I can keep trying that. K is minus 2. X will be, okay, that's a minus 12. So it's minus 11 pi on 12. But I can't have k equals to minus 3. If I have k equals to minus 3, it's minus 17 on 12. It's out of minus pi. Okay, when k is minus 3, x is minus 17 on 12. That's out of the domain. So I can't have minus 3. I'll stop here. And I'll try the positive side. When k is 1, x is 7 pi on 12. Okay, plus a pi on 2. And when k is 2, x is 13 pi on 12. which is out of the domain because it's negative pi to pi. Okay, it's negative pi to pi. So I'll make the conclusion that x can be 11 pi on 12, comma, minus 5 pi on 12, comma, pi on 12, 7 pi on 12, and that's the answer. Okay, yep.
How is 6 pi and 12 a solution? How is 7 pi and 12 a solution? Here it is 6 pi and 12.
Yeah, that's 7 pi. Pi is the 12 pi over 12 pi is the domain. 12 pi over 12 pi is the domain. Alright, so that's how we solve for that. Tangent equations are very easy to solve. Okay, tangent equations are very easy to solve. There's only one base angle. You just solve everything once and you just keep adding or subtracting, period. Unlike sine and cosine, you have two base angles. You need to add and subtract, period, for both solutions. Okay, you need to add to subtract for both solutions. So that's quite difficult. Okay, so that's this one. You should be able to finish this already at home. Okay, example 4. Example 4, I will have tangent half x equals to minus 1. So minus root 2 divided by root 2, that's a minus 1. Tangent what equals to minus 1? Tangent pi on 4 is 1, but you need negative 1. That's correct. Tangent pi on 4 is 1. But what you need is negative 1. You don't want a 1 in the end. So it's either in the first quadrant or in the second quadrant. It must be in the second quadrant because tan is negative in the second quadrant. So it must be here when it's a sine quadrant. And you need a base angle pi on 4. So you need a base angle pi on 4 here. The actual angle you're talking about is this one, 3 pi on 4, not pi on 4. Okay, so 3 pi on 4. Because it is in the second quadrant and it got a reference angle pi on 4, it will give you the value 1 plus the sign in the front, which is a negative sign because it's in the cosine quadrant, sine quadrant. So tan will be negative. So half x will be 3 pi on 4. X will be 3 pi on 2. Okay, the next thing I'll think about my period. Period is what? Okay, period is what? 2 pi. Okay, pi divided by a half. That's 2 pi. If period is 2 pi, okay, let's make it 4 pi on 2 because I want to have the same denominator as that one. Okay, let's make it a 4 pi on 2. So I can have my general solution as x equals to 3 pi on 2 plus 4 pi over 2 times k, where k belongs to z. I can't see it. Well, you have k belongs to z, everyone. K belongs to z here. Okay, that's important. K belongs to z. Because if I release it, you can't see it. Then I make it to the same denominator. That's 3 pi plus 4k pi over 2, where k belongs to z. Okay, when k is 0, x is just 3 pi over 2. When k is negative 1, x will be negative pi on 2. But what you need is a positive solution, 0 to 4 pi. So it can't have that one. Okay, can't have that one. Then k equals to 1, x equals to 7 pi on 2. That's alright, that's 3.5 pi. And k equals to 2, x will be 11 pi on 2. That's outside the domain. That's outside the domain. That's 5.5 pi already. So x will be 3 pi on 2 and 7 pi on 2. Any questions about this? Okay, so that's how do we solve for tangent. Okay, so far what we have learned, we just learned like two things. One is solving for sine, cosine, tangent. One is graphing for sine, cosine, and tangent. Maybe another thing is finding exact values for that. Okay, using formulas to give exact values for that. For example, sine pi on 2 minus theta will be cosine theta. Cosine pi on 2 minus theta will be sine theta. Sine 3 pi over 2 minus theta will be cosine theta. Cosine 3 pi over 2 minus theta will be minus sine theta, some formula like that. So it's all given before, and you need to know how to find reference angles, how to recognize the quadrant for that angle, and whether it's a positive or negative value. So that's like just a overall conclusion for what we have learned so far for the last 7 lessons, the last 6 lessons. That's the 7th lesson. So we will do some application questions after this, because the purpose of doing this type, learning all these things, is doing application type questions. So just let you know, you will learn exactly same thing again in year 12. Okay, what I give you here, I can use that for year 12 notes. There will be a little bit extra things in year 12 for solving, but it's pretty much the same. Okay, it's almost the same. 99% is similarities. So if you learn it now, okay, year 12, you don't worry about that chapter. That's 3rd chapter, I think you learn in, or 4th chapter you learn in year 12. So don't really need to worry about that. So everything's done. Application questions. There's definitely will be a circular function questions in VCA exam. Okay, definitely one extended response questions. Like there's 4 questions, 4 extended response questions. So absolutely one will be circular functions. So which is very important. So 100% sure it will be on the test, and you need to know about that. So we will do some easy type of application in year 11. So it's not that complex. It is suggested that the height h meters of the tide above mean sea level on 1st of January at somewhere is given approximately by this equation. Okay, where t is the number after midnight. So midnight will be like 12 a.m. Okay, midnight will be 12 a.m. So it will be the time after 12 a.m. Okay, draw the graph for ht for t in between 0 to 24. Okay, for t in between 0 to 24. So same, if asked me to sketch for something, I need to label the mean, maximum, and minimum, those 3 lines first. Okay, where's the mean line for this question? Where? Mean line? The middle, 0. And the maximum? 4. And minimum? -4. Okay, I just want to ask one question. I just remember that in case I forget, nothing about this one. If you have a sine graph, okay, if you have a sine graph, the maximum value is 6. And the minimum value is, let's say, -4. What is the amplitude? And what is the mean line? 1, okay? So how do we find that? That's the maximum, that's the minimum. So let's say 6 is here, -4 is here. And I need to find the middle. Where's the middle? I will add those two and divide by 2. That will give me the middle. So the middle is just 2 divided by 2, which is 1. So the middle is 1. Okay, that's the middle. And the amplitude is not the minimum to the maximum. It's actually the middle to the max or the middle to the minimum. So that is actually your amplitude. Okay, that is actually your amplitude. So 1 to 6, which is 5. 5 is the amplitude. And 1 is your mean line, M-E-A-N, this mean. Okay, mean means middle. Okay, middle line. So you will have some questions similar to that, and you need to solve for this. Okay, you will have some question quite similar to that. Let's have a look. Okay, for this one. So you have this one, and I want to find the graph. So I need to find the starting point. So I will make pi on 6t equals to pi on 2. Because this is a sine graph, I will make the value equals to pi on 2 to find at a maximum or a minimum value. So pi on 2 times 6 over pi, that gives you t equals to 3. Okay, t equals to 3. Plus a greater than 0. So that is a maximum point. So you have a maximum point at 3, 4 here. And you will think about the period. Period equals to 2 pi divided by pi on 6, and that equals to 12. Okay, period equals to 12. And the step equals to 12 divided by 4 and equals to 3. Okay, equals to 3. So you go left by 3, you have 0, 0 here, and goes 3 to the right, you have 6, 0 here, and you go another 3, you have 9 minus 4 here, and you plus 3, you have 12. Okay, 12, 0 here, and you plus another 3, you have 15. Okay, there's 15, 4 here, plus another 3, you have 18. 18, 0, plus another 3, you have 21. So 21 minus 4, and you plus the last 3, you have 24. So that's a 24, 0. That's the end point. Because it's asked me to sketch for 0 to 24, which is 1 day. Okay, which is 1 day. So the shape of the graph will be this. Okay, so we have that. Okay, you label the endpoints, see the endpoints, and you label 2 endpoints and the maximum and minimum points. Okay, the maximum and minimum points. And when was the high tide? Okay, when was the high tide? Okay, the question when is asking you times. It's not asking you how many hours has been passed. It asks you the actual time. Okay, when is asking your time. So the high tide is when t equals to 3 and when t equals to 15. So it will be 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. That is when, okay? I'll ask you, when will you go somewhere? You will say, at what time? You will say, after 3 hours, like after midnight, I will go where. So the when is actually asking you to give the time. And what was the height of the high tide? Is just 4 meters. Okay, just 4 meters, because the maximum value is just 4. And what was the height of the tide at 8 a.m.? So at 8 a.m., you will have t equals to 8. So H8 equals to 4 times sine pi on 6. I'll write it a little bit above here. H8 equals to 4 sine pi on 6 times 8. That is 4 sine 4 pi on 3. Okay, 4 pi on 3 is in the third quadrant, which is here. That is a 4 pi on 3. And we have reference angle here, which is pi on 3. Okay, reference angle pi on 3. So that's a tangent quadrant. It's a negative sine pi on 3. Change the angle into reference angle, and I will consider about the quadrant. That is a tangent quadrant, so the answer will be negative. So what is the answer for sine pi on 3? Root 3 on 2. So minus 4 times root 3 on 2. And I will have minus 2 root 3 meters. Okay, the height is minus 2 root 3 meters. Alright, next one. A boat can only cross the harbor bar when the tide is at least 1 meter above the mean sea level. When could be the boat across the harbor bar on 1st of January? So let's have a look at this diagram. That's actually indicate the height of the tide at all the time. So I want the height for 1. Okay, that is 1 meters. Okay, that is 1 meters. So if that's 1 meters, when it can cross that will be, okay, I'll just draw a point here. That's the x value for the intersection. At those times, it's just 1 meters. And you want it above, okay, you want the height above 1 meters, which means all of these part and this part is available. Okay, I'll use another color. This part. These times are the time which can make the boat across the harbor bar, because all of those graphs have a level greater than 1 meters. Okay, the level is greater than 1 meters. So the important thing for me is now is solving for the point of intersection. Okay, solving for the point of intersection. So how do we solve for the point of intersection? So we have 4 sine pi on 6t equals to 1. Okay, menu 3.1 to solve for it. Okay, we solve for that. We have 4 sine pi 6 times x. I will use x. And that equals to 1 and comma x. Okay, is that all I need to enter here? Domain. If we don't put domain, we'll get a general solution. So we need a domain. Control equal of the bar sign here and 0 to x. 24 is my domain. Well, you can include the 0 as well, because you can see that obviously not the endpoint. So whether include or not including that is the same. Press that. have a solution like that, which is you can't really write anything. So control equal, that is the actual thing. Okay, so for this, I have 4 solutions. Okay, there's 2 more at the back here. Okay, 4 solutions. This is the t equals to what? So there's how many hours has been passed after 12. But it's also asking you when. Then I need to answer a time. Okay, I need to answer a time. Oh my god, why is still? I'll connect my keyboard. Okay, so the first value is after 0.48 is even less than 1 over. So what I will do is just copy all of this down. Okay, when you want to copy it, you just put your, for example, you want to start to copy the value from here. You put this line here and you hold the shift button and keep tapping right. It's just like how you select the word in Word document. Hold the shift button and then the shift button is here. Okay, this one, you just hold the shift button here and then press right. Highlight the part until you want and then press enter. It will bring down the value directly for you. So what I want to do is just highlight that. I can do it easily here. And press enter. I will times this by 60. Because it's 60 minutes. I want to see, like, it's less than 1 over. I want to see how many minutes has been passed. And it's a 29 minutes. It's approximately 29 minutes. So at this time, at this moment, it will be 12.29 a.m. That's the time. That's the actual time. Or 0009 is fine as well. If you want to say 0009 is fine as well. So that's 29 minutes after the midnight. And then you're looking for the next value. The next value is that. It's already 5 hours past. So I will subtract that by 5. I have this value here. I will time this value by 60. So it's another 31 minutes. It's another 31 minutes. It's 5 hours and 31 minutes. Okay, 5 hours and 31 minutes. So I will have until 5:31 a.m. Okay, until 5:31 a.m. Okay, during that period of time, the boat can go across the harbor. And there's another 2 values here. Okay, the next one is just 12. Can you see this value here? 12.4823. Okay, compare this value and this value. Can you see all the decimals are exactly the same? All the decimals are exactly the same. The decimal places times 60 will still give you 31 minutes. But it's already 12 hours has been passed. So the time for that is 12:29 p.m. Okay, it's the corresponding time, but it's the afternoon time. And to where? Okay, the last value is this one. Is 17 something. Can you see this decimal? Is the same as this decimal. So it's still 31 minutes has been passed, but it's 17 hours later. So the time is 5:31 p.m. in this question. Okay, so it's 2 periods of time. One period of time is midnight 00:29 a.m. and 5:31 a.m. The second period of time will be 12:29 p.m. to 5:31 p.m. So during that 2 period of time, you both can go across the harbor. Okay, that's how the application question can be asked. Okay, that's how it can be asked. just have a think about this question, and I will write another question for you here. I really want to show that question to you. So just give me 1 minute. I will just write the question down for you. Okay, that's an important question. Give your 5 minutes to think about it. I think like each table gets some value for A, B, or N. Okay, so I'll just start for thinking about this. As I tell you before, like the maximum value and the minimum value is help you to decide what is the middle and the amplitude. Okay, so we have highest 40 and minimum is 16. So I will have a line like this. Okay, 40 and 16. So what is the middle? 28 is the middle. So 28 is calculated by 40 plus 16 over 2. And that equals to 28. That gives me the B value. Okay, there's no doubt B is 28 for sure. Okay, the next thing is think about the height in between this to this. What is the height here? Okay, the height is 12. Okay, from here to here is 12 as well. So what you know that is amplitude is 12. But amplitude equals to absolute value of A. It's not just A, it's absolute value of A. So A can be plus or minus 12, but I don't know what conclusion I should make at this stage yet. Okay. So my equation can be written as y equals to plus or minus 12 cosine nt plus 28. Okay, I can't make a decision for the A value yet. Okay, let's have a look at the next. At midnight, it is at the lowest temperature. Okay, so what I know is when T equals to 0, that's capital T, and T will be 16. That's the information I know. I can just substitute that in. 16 equals to, okay, I don't know what's this. Let's just write that as A. And I have cosine 0 plus 28. That's a minus 12 equals to A. So cosine 0 is 1. So A is negative 12. So I can change that to a negative 12. So the point I want to make here is the amplitude is not the A. It can be negative of the A, or you can be positive of the A. So the A, you have a question mark here. You need to either know a maximum point or know a minimum point to help you to work on the A value. So if give you an equation, a graph, and ask you to find the equation, you can see the amplitude really easy. But you can't just use that as your A value. You need to use the maximum point or the minimum point on the graph, not the mean line graph, okay? Not the mean line point, not the middle one, not the middle points. You must use the max or the minimum to help you to define whether A should be positive or negative. That's a checking step you must do when you give like formula like that and ask you to solve for A, B, and N values. So A is actually negative 12. Okay, A is negative 12, B is 28, and we'll look for the last one. Okay, last one is the N value. I just draw a random sine graph or cosine graph, like it doesn't matter. So I just draw a circular function graph. Let's have a think. From the maximum to the minimum, this part of the graph, how long is that? What's the length of that? According to period. How many period is that? Half period. Okay, it's just half period. Because each period you experience 1, 2, 3, 4 stages. That's including Tuesday. It's just half period. So from max to the minimum is half period. Okay, it's half period. So what you know here is half period equals to pi on 12. So the whole period is a pi on 6. Okay, the whole period will be a pi on 6. So what you know here is period equals to 2 pi divided by n absolute value. Okay, remember that's an absolute sign as well. So you will, let's say, cross multiplication, 12 pi equals to n pi. And absolute n equals to 12. But you know because n is positive, so n is 12. Okay, that's my third solution here. Okay, so n is 12, a is negative 12. Wait, it's 2 pi divided, yep, that's correct, pi on 6. Pi on 6 is the period. Yeah, pi on 6 is the period, and you divide by that, and that gives you the n value. And the n value is just 12. And what else we need to know? And B is 28. B is easy. A is somehow alright if you know the checking step. And N you need a bit thinking. But in this question, you must know that from the maximum to the minimum, you will have half period. Okay, you will have half period. So that's the most important thing to think about. Okay, so that's all for circular functions. I just explained everything here. We use 7 lessons. We'll have some revision one before the test. Because some of you asked me that Friday and Thursday next week you have a lot of SAC on. Let's just the whole class move it to Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. There's no Monday. Yeah, let's just move it to Tuesday. If it's possible, I'll check. I think if other teachers have no problem with that, I'm fine with it. Let's just move it on Tuesday. We don't